The devil has come to consoles, and here he is. What is going on, guys and girls? It is GhostRobo, and today marks the release of Diablo 3 for both Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. If you know anything about Blizzard, you know that they very rarely venture into the home console space, so it's kind of a special occasion, and on all accounts, everything I've read, heard, seen myself, it's been a pretty successful transition. Some people are even saying this is the definitive version of Diablo 3 because they made some slight adjustments to the format, some slight tweaks to the boss structure, and have remapped everything, obviously, to a controller. I'm playing on the 360, and I can definitely vouch for that. It feels pretty darn good. It's a little weird to be mashing the buttons on the controller rather than the buttons on the mouse because you still do a lot of one-button attacking. Right now I have things mapped to A, right trigger, and then potions on left bumper. You move with the left stick, you roll with the right stick, but it feels pretty good. It feels like any action RPG would and could and should on Xbox 360, and I'm sure it performs equally well on the PlayStation 3. We are definitely early on here, but already, like I said, it is a fun game, and even though it's been out for quite some time, I could see this doing pretty well as a home console port. It's also rumored to possibly come to PS4 either later this year or next. I played a bunch of the original when it came out for PC as the Witch Doctor, and here I am rolling a Demon Hunter. Now, like I said, we just started off level 3, but I have a couple skills, and I've had some time to mess around with the combat. It's a little bit odd not being able to point directly, but I think the analog sticks handle just fine for aiming your shots and your special attacks. I will say it's a little strange having the roll on the right trigger. I'm sure you can remap stuff a little bit, but let's just check it out and see what we think for ourselves. It handles the loot system and stuff, the menus nicely. We'll jump into those, I'm sure, briefly after we level up here. I'm playing, obviously, just the normal mode because I just got the game. So no Nightmare or Hell or Inferno or anything crazy just yet. It's funny because even though this is pretty generic like Zombie Fair, I do remember this opening town like to a T very, very well. And luckily, this game has none of the problems that the PC counterpart had when it launched in terms of error 37 or was it 47, whatever error it had. You can play this split screen, you can play it online, so they've added in all the multiplayer functionality and co-op functionality that you could want. And so, I think it's been a pretty good transition. Just as a warning, as a pre-note, this is by no means a walkthrough. I just wanted to check the game out with you guys and give you my take and thoughts on the newest release. There really isn't much coming out for the next few weeks. You've got GTA in a few short ones, and then Wind Waker HD, and then things get really crazy once October rolls around. But this is a pretty good spot for Diablo 3. Come out at the beginning of September, and I think for people that did not play the PC version or the Mac version, that this is probably a pretty worthwhile buy. There's a lot of content here and a lot of game to play and a lot of co-op fun to have both couch and across the interwebs. Like I said, people are saying it's the definitive version, so if you haven't played Diablo 3, the game holds up really well. It's not like, oh god, it's so dated. I will say the graphics look a little bit disappointing. I wish they were a little bit stronger here on 360. Oh god, we literally were like 1% of damage away from killing him. But if it comes to PS4, I'm sure they'll tidy stuff up. It never was like the prettiest game of all time, but the art direction is more where it's at. Like the feel and the environment is definitely strong with this one. It just doesn't have as much graphical oomph. I was watching GTA 5 videos earlier today and Assassin's Creed 4, and of course isn't gonna look much like that, but it's still a pretty game from a color and art direction perspective. We're gonna get the heck out of here. Completed our first big quest, I guess you could call it, here on the old ruins, old Tristram Road, chasing after that fallen star. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever played Diablo 3 before, or any of the past Diablos rather. I'm kind of also picked this one up because I've been playing so much Hearthstone and sort of getting a lot of Blizzard love lately with that game. It's so much fun. It's like the card game beta that they got going on PC right now. But this is obviously nothing like that. Let's talk to Rumford.
Thank you for your help. but could you talk some sense into Leah?
Talk some sense into Leah, won't give up the idea, rescuing her
training
uncle.
has paid off.
And we've reached level 4 and got some loot, which means we can check out the wheel that they have going on here. Obviously, you have less specific dexterity in terms of clicking on character pieces, but it's all mapped to an analog wheel, which is nice. We can go in here, and what did we get? We got gloves, so we can take our adventuring gloves. You can compare just like you would, and we can equip. You've got your skills right here. Again, all on a wheel, nice. And what I appreciate about what they did is, like, it's very quick to access everything. It's not like very complicated menus. You go in here, you can switch stuff up real quick, and you're back in the action real fast.
Come, let us search for your uncle.
We'll need to open the cathedral.
All right,
first.
go into the cathedral. I've never been one to really focus too much on the story in Diablo or in any game that kind of resembles this action RPG. And it seems to be quite filler, whether you're playing an MMO or whether you're playing a direct action game like this. The story never was the big deal for me. It's more about the gameplay and the moment-to-moment action of killing a bunch of people, and possibly, most of all, collecting awesome loot. So we gotta go the other way, but there's a dead body, so I figured we'd check it out. We have a skill slot open here. Or at least a new thing, right? Well, caltrops, okay. So we can place a trap. Now we have the X buttons. They're going to eventually map everything, it looks like, right? Yeah, we've got Y, B, right bumper. Everything will be utilized. We can throw down some caltrops. All right. ADRIA'S hut. Just been fighting zombies so far. I know some people were a little disappointed with the
Cellar. Follow me.
enemy variety and the environmental variety in the game. I never got to the third act. Just played the first and second. So I can't really vouch for the entirety of the game, but I know I had fun with what I did play. Uh-oh. We got some witches and some witches. Oh my god. Have some traps. Snare everybody. And the captain. It's weird to play this game and not have it be, oh god, we're trapped. There still is a little bit of finickiness in terms of, like, when they attack you and if you're actually hit or if you actually dodge it, because there's still a lot of dice rolls going on behind the scenes. I mean, it feels much more directly controlled now because it is on console, but it still is, like, the kind of game where you're not directly, you know what I mean? Like, it's not direct on everything. This guy is a strong freaking cookie, isn't he? Got all the crispy chips inside of his dough. Alright, get out of here. I do like the effects on the attacks, like the visual effects. It's interesting to think back, because most recently I played Torchlight 2, and that game, for as similar as they are, they're different. Like, in some specific ways, they're kind of different, and especially in the freeform nature of the leveling up in Torchlight 2.
I feel better now.
Here, it's much more a linear progression.
I will go.
Thank you.
Alright.
Aiden came to me
Woo!
last night.
XP and
I suspected
blar
what
blar
was
blar
lurking
as this
within
woman
his troubled heart.
speaks at
I
us.
consoled him as best I could.
I've turned all the
Regardless,
subtitles on, but
wherever
apparently it
he
doesn't
said
affect
hell will
this
surely
aspect
follow
of the
in his
storyline. And again, like I said,
Shadows close in
I'm
on
not really one
Tristram
for the
once
story here. Did we
again.
get anything?
But like Aiden, I'll be
Useful.
gone before they fall.
Scouting sash. More magic item find. That's pretty good.
Here's the key and my mother's journal. What I've seen of
I
it.
will
Okay.
go. Stay here.
Thank you.
She's gonna go learn. We're gonna go try and open up the cathedral to find Uncle Decker. Oh gosh. Whoops. This is the one thing I have noticed. By having A be the main attack button and the main interact button, you get in these weird instances where you're trying to attack and then you end up interacting, or you're trying to, well, it's mostly that way. I was going to say the other way around, but no, it's typically just you're trying to attack, and if you're caught by a door or an entry point, it's going to automatically, throw you back through that location, that portal, rather than let you conduct a barrage of brutal damage. So that's a little bit sucky, but that's, like I said, the only thing I've noticed that's been subpar so far on the controller in terms of a gameplay front so far. And performance-wise, it seems to be pretty good. Obviously, you can crank up your PC to look and play smoother and better for sure, but I think that, again, for a console port, it looks pretty darn good. More Risen coming at us. Bam. Get out of here. It's a pretty gloomy game. I forgot, like, how dark and, like, dank and just all feels like a swamp, like, especially at the start here. a real muggy and somber tone to begin the game. Alright, this guy freaking. Everybody's spawning from the floor. I did make videos on Diablo 3 at launch.
The infamous Tristram Cathedral. I am
Doom,
first
doom,
to follow
doom.
the
Inside
sun.
we go. It is a little strange, like, you know, playing something like DMC earlier this year, you know, which is very timing based and very combo based. Like, it's a little weird just mashing on the buttons here. I prefer a more involved style. Obviously, that's not what this game is supposed to be. It's not what it ever was. It's not what it's going to be. But just if you have never played Diablo 3, if you are not familiar with the PC port and you're just looking for a fun action game, do know that this is not going to be as
So this is where the
direct
stars fell.
and combo,
The quarry must be near.
you know, heavy at all as something like a DMC or a Bayonetta or a God of War even. But I just wanted to showcase it to you and see how the devil is doing. It's funny, when I picked this game up, I got it from Toys R Us, which I rarely ever shop there because they had a sale where it was only $45 instead of $60, which I thought was a pretty good price. But the gentleman who was checking me out, oh my god, the grotesque guy is grotesque. He was trying to ask about the $45 deal to his boss, and he was like, it's for Diablo 3. Do we have a deal on that? And she's like, what game? And he's like, Diablo 3. And she's like, I still don't catch the name of the game. And he's like, Diablo 3, like the devil. Diablo, like the devil. And I just thought it was really funny the way he got, like, really into that. This guy is pretty fast, man. Get out of my face. Boom. He explodes and gets these disgusting corpse worms everywhere, which are pretty nasty. And we'd probably be better off fighting some of this early stuff with a direct attack, like a sword or a dagger or something. But I never have played as the Demon Hunter, and I know that was a lot of people's first choice in the game, and so I figured that would be a fun one to check out. Get out of here, you beasts. Alright. I don't want to keep you guys much longer. Just want to give you a quick look at the game and showcase how well it actually has transitioned to consoles. And I think, like I said, if I were you, I'd pick this up, play it on your big screen, enjoy some controller time. I mean, you could still get on the PC. If you were going to get on the PC, you probably already have, because like I said, the game came out a long time ago. But if you never played Diablo 3, never played one of these style games, wanted something a little more direct control based, and thought that it looked fun, but your PC couldn't handle it, or it just wasn't your cup of tea back then, I can recommend this. It's a fun game. It's got a lot of content, and you could play it very, very, very well into the winter season here, especially if you're one to really seek out the big loot prizes and the harder difficulties. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. Hit that like button if you did have fun. Drink some hot chocolate. I'm going to run away from this guy. Until next time, we will see you all later.